aggressive style against Bomber in game number 1 and gave him the first victory. Can he edge out a second win on Daybreak here? The Zerg player starts to the top right.
AGIM, KangHo.
KangHo with a really good build, going for the mind games against Bomber successfully. And at the bottom left now, the Terran player playing a little bit too greedy in game number 1. Starting for Team Startail.
Startail Bomber.
Bomber. There he is. Fast drone scout here for KangHo. Does not want to get 2 barracks proxies on a 2-player map.
Yeah, really fast scout that he has.
He can also, if he sees a CC first, go for a double hatch before pool on this map.
Yeah, exactly. Could do that.
And it looks like that's what he is going to see.
There is a CC first, and he could also just try to block it for a little bit.
This is why this type of scout on a 2-player map is so cool. It's got so much utility.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially when you know that your opponent loves to start with the command center first, and you can already see that KangHo is just waiting there at the front for his opponent to try to start the command center. Hatch first goes down, and yeah, he's going to block. A second SCV already being sent out, and here comes the CC onto the high ground. Cats would now immediately drop the 3rd hatch at the natural of Bomber. He would.
He would. He's a little bit blocked though.
Yeah.
I would love to see Lucira do it. I don't think he will, of course.
If Lucira would do this, Cats is gonna have like an orgasm. I can promise you that. That would be like the best thing for him to happen, but it's not gonna happen in this game as KangHo now builds the extractor. In case you guys don't know what we're talking about, it was on Antos's show Meta just recently where Cats explained that against the CC on the high ground, against the CC on the high ground, you can go for a 3rd base at the opponent's natural to delay it for a long time, and you can even soft contain him a little bit. We'll get a lead in the game, and especially when you don't know how to react against it, if it's a newer strategy for the Terran player you're facing, then it is especially dangerous. You can check that out on YouTube as well. I just did a tutorial on it. Kat sent me a few replays to explain how it works. If you want to have a look, just look for KangHo on YouTube, and the first video that's going to pop up will be the tutorial of how to execute that. But in Korea, we don't see this at all. It's not all that gimmicky, but it's something that a lot of people are not really familiar with, especially in the Korean scene. It's more restricted to the foreign community. So we will see a more standard play from both players, but still pretty nice heading into this game.
Yeah. You know, KangHo is invited to leave with that lower on the depot, but he says, no, I'm sticking around, I'll take your extractor. And he's going to just continue to cancel as long as he wants to. I think he'll actually let this one finish. There's no real reason for him to cancel. He wants to see if there's a 3rd command center, but he has an overlord who can do the same thing. We'll see if he decides to cancel here. Do not think so. Oh, well, I mean, he does, but he's not going to see anything.
Yeah. In this situation, I feel that finishing it would have been a little bit better.
Yeah, I agree. He can't actually get up there and see if there's a 3rd CC.
It's just a little bit that is sacrificed, but still. For now, I am more curious to see what KangHo is going to do here, because at this point, we don't have a 3rd base for him just yet. And
he has a lot of gas.
Yeah, exactly. He has quite a bit of gas. He's getting the 3rd right now.
Is he just going to go into a delayed speed? That's way too much gas for that. I think, did he forget to research speed? Because he only has 1 drone and gas right now. Did he forget to research speed?
That's not really something that you forget, you know? There it is. But it's a little bit late. You're completely right about this.
He canceled it again, actually, right now.
Yeah.
I think he may have something else planned. He needs to do something with that gas, though.
But why would you cancel speed when you're at 188 gas? Because you can't just take the additional 12 that you need to get the lair tech up to. Unless you want to go into super fast double upgrades, which he doesn't have any. I mean, it doesn't have anything. Now he starts it again. He was really like starving for the minerals. He wanted to get those drones out.
Exactly. I think he was like, I messed this up, but I can maybe make up for it by getting 2 extra drones instead. I respect the choice. I think it was definitely a mistake to forget the speed, but you know, in this case, getting the extra 2 drones and doing that cancel makes a lot of sense to me. After he's already behind,
getting a lot of gas right now. 3 already before starting his lair tech. That is.
You know, last game, I thought he was going to go for fast meters, but he saw the 4 barracks and he was like, no, I'm going to go for speed all-in. Speed Baneland, I should say. In this game, though, you know, anything goes with how much gas he's taken here.
Double engineering bay once again for Bomber heading into the early upgrades. This time we have the evolution chambers for real in KangHo's base. The Hellions are moving in and we don't have speed. And he's even getting into the main base. There's no double queen block. There are no Zerglings. There's no nothing. He's trying to build a wall here, and he's successful doing it, but still, this is dangerous.
Yep. Oh, wow, he stacks them up, and Bomber is doing incredible damage here. Cancel on that. Oh, wow.
I would even say terrible, terrible damage here.
Yeah.
That is insane. He's taking so many out.
13.
That was so worth it. 13 Harvesters, and he even gets out with those 2 Hellions.
Well, he tries to get more. That was a bit greedy.
Yeah, but he forces drones off the mineral line. That's a little bit of mining time lost. That is definitely worth it. A good trade for Bomber.
14 in total, and you know, with that, he makes it not an unlucky number.
Well, that was certainly unlucky for KangHo. I can tell you that much.
He prefers 13 to 14. If you asked him, he'd tell you. He's also supply block after losing that Overlord, and he has only 1 Overlord started. So this is not looking good for KangHo. He's starting to fall apart here a little bit against these Hellions. Loses 2 more drones.
It's not only the drones, also the lava that he's losing here. Over time, this will definitely do a number on him. The +1 and +1 upgrades that he's researching now are also behind the upgrades for Bomber. Lair tech has just now been started. And those Hellions are still just looking for an angle to approach this. There's no mining going on at the 3rd base for KangHo. This is really annoying for him.
He's still supply blocked right now, and he's going to lose this Larva. This is really cool. I like this choice to go for Larva. He forces the eggs to be used right away. No hesitation there. He has to make it right at that moment.
And you know, now he's going in again because he knows that there will be a few drones. I mean, what exactly could KangHo possibly build there? A few Zerglings, or he goes into drones?
Yeah, and if there's Zerglings, he just kills those too.
Doesn't want him to commit though. But
right
still,
now, worker count is still in favor of Bomber, but with all the extra larva, KangHo to use Bomber's army is much better. He's also got the upgrades a little bit faster. He's moving now with his 3rd CC.
timing at the 3rd base of Bomber works out for KangHo. There is done, and he immediately starts to drop creep, so he can delay this expansion for a little bit longer. And once again, the Hellion could sneak past the Queens, but they are a little bit too cautious here. They don't know how many Zerglings down the high ground. They don't want to get trapped.
Yeah. Kills a tumor though and gets away. Bomber in a great position right now.
Siege tanks now for him. Once
he
again.
has the armory up already. He can go into 2-2.
That's one of the things that is typical for Bomber. He builds siege tanks, and he is building them for a long time, even in Heart of the Swarm. He is not really the biggest Widowmine user.
Yeah. Siege tanks, he feels more comfortable with them. A lot of people are arguing siege tanks are still actually a good Terran unit to make in all parts of the matchup. Some people are saying, of course, Widowmines are much better.
I really would like to see a Terran player that is very good at controlling siege tanks and Widowmines. We usually see one or the other, and I can certainly see why. A few Terran players have been experimenting with both, but nobody has really perfected it yet. I feel if you actually have a composition of units where you have both to like with a good ratio, that might even be much, much stronger than Widowmines.
To be honest, I feel like a lot of Terran players are not used to managing more factories than that, and it's a little bit uncomfortable for them. But look at this, Scuttle. We have another factory, and we also have some Widowmines, so we could see just that in this game with Bomber. He's making a 1 Widowmine right now as it's himself with that tech lab.
We have the Spy attack coming up for KangHo. It's going to be interesting to see how heavily he's going to commit to this. We have him going into a standard composition with Banelings, Zerglings, and also Mutalisks. Bomber trying to make sure that he's at least forcing the creep back a little bit, but KangHo's multitasking is really exceptional here. He's doing quite a number on map control. There's creep everywhere already.
Yeah, I mean, you can kill 1 turn, but the other 3 are going to get away.
He has so many, and he is still active with the Queen on the map to make sure that the energy is really low, that he gets more active creep tumors into the game.
We have a very quick Drilling Claws upgrade for those Widowmines, so he's going to have the Widowmines, the first ones he makes, very useful, and he's actually cut Siege Tank production out at this moment in time.
It's pretty cool. I mean, right now we were talking about him not using Widowmines too much, but now he's adding them. Even if he just uses them to be on the defensive, having 1 in each mineral line, for example, that would already help quite a bit.
Yeah.
Can then move out with the siege tanks later on.
I think he'll probably switch some add-ons once that upgrade finishes. He needs a tech lab to make that. And there it is, already triple Widowmines coming out. He could still start siege tanks though off of this barracks once it's, or off the factory once it's ready.
A lone Baneling on the map, God knows why, probably trying to just borrow the Baneling and go for a bit of a landmine here.
Yeah, burrow upgrade is done.
And now we have another base coming up for KangHo. KangHo is really trying to control this map. He is behind in supply, and that is never a good sign of you as a player, unless you have a huge bank, which is not the case here. KangHo is adding the infestation pit so that he can go into the hive tech and then Ultralisks later on if he wants to transition or even go into another composition. We've seen Terran players even being forced to deal with Broodlords once again.
Yeah.
But for now, it's Ling, Muta, Baneling, a very strong composition that is kind of standard in this matchup now.
There are turrets going up, but they're not ready yet. He's going to be able to eliminate one. The Baneling landmines here are dodged. just coincidentally. But this turret wall is not enough, and it was a bit late. He's going to be able to escape now, but he did some damage.
The Mutalists have to deal with the Marines though. Baneling landmines have been dodged, and now the +3/+3 is already being researched for Bomber, not missing a beat here in his macro. That's what he's known for.
He's going to bait him into those landmines.
He's trying.
Oh. I think Bomber calls his bluff here. He's like, wait a minute, this is weird. Why are you trying to do this? Oh, no, he doesn't.
That was so well done. But we have units at the natural. Lings were running in, and Bomber doesn't realize it. A little bit too late. He's sending the Marines in, but so many SCVs are already gone.
Yeah, Bomber actually losing control of the supply lead during this moment of time. And he is getting 3-3 out much faster. KangHo lacking that hive tech, so not able to start it just yet, but KangHo really starting to turn this game around with that map control, with his aggression and all of his creep spread. His creep spread is insane.
His creep spread is really crazy. The problem is that he has to deal with Bomber's force now that is moving across the map, and here come the Turtles immediately running in. The Banelings on the move, the siege tanks knock siege up, but a massive Widowmine hit!
That killed a lot of everything.
Yeah, a lot of Marines too.
Yeah, I'm not actually, I mean, I would have to watch that in like times 0.0008 to see who actually got the better trade there.
Both of them are still at very similar supply, with still Bomber having a bit of a lead here, but that Widowmine hit was crazy. The siege tanks just were not sieged up in time.
He's going in again. This time there are still Widowmines though.
Oh, those hits! The Banelings, most of them exploding here, and Bomber is saving his bioforces.
Yeah, Bomber just trading Widowmines and a few Marines against more Banelings, getting the better trades overall, and his 3-3 is getting closer to closer to being done, as he's also pushing the creep back.
And he's just looking at his production, he's like, you know what, screw siege tanks, let's go for Widowmines, I heard they're good. And he's using them together with the bioforces. Once again, the Banelings moving in, Bomber with the splits, here comes the rest of the Zerg army. KangHo is trying to commit.
He tries to commit here, but I think the bioforce may be too strong. It looks like he barely breaks through.
Yeah, there was just not enough splitting going on in KangHo. He had so many units. The reinforcements are trying to hold the Zerg wave off. Another Widowmine hit takes down the Overseers.
KangHo has this momentum right now. He's taking out so many of these medevacs. And I think Bomber may have relied too much on those Widowmines. He must have thought KangHo was just going to turn around, so he didn't split as well. He needs to turn around now, though.
There's a burrow on the Widowmine immediately. And the fourth base is now being established by Bomber. The Hive on the way for KangHo. +3/+3 nearly done for the Terran player.
Imagine if 3-3 had been done for that fight. That would have been much better for Bomber. But as it is, KangHo still getting his Hive up, adding a few more Mutas. Mutalist count going to be up to 18 with that. Even ship weapons already coming out for Bomber. He knows the possibility of Brewlords is there, and he's not just gonna leave it.
There are a few Overlords to the top left, and so far Bomber did not try to really drop a lot, so now he has a chance of surprising his opponent a little bit. Let's see if KangHo is ready in the main base for the defense. Overseers are everywhere, and
Lings
Overlords
are
as
coming
well.
back.
He can at least draw those forces all the way to the top right. There's no splitting.
And meanwhile, there's a double Widowmine drop going to the bottom, so he's going to try to drop some Widowmines in there and disrupt the mining into the bottom right.
If he doesn't see those Widowmines when they burrow, it's going to be a big problem for him.
And so far, I'm not sure if he's going to see it. Okay, the Lings do come down. But now he has to be careful because they're Widowmines. He runs away.
Yeah.
And those are Marauders, actually.
The creep on this map is just so thick. It's really a big problem for Bomber. He needs to have so much detection to take down all those creep tumors.
Right now, Bomber's adding more starports, but he's actually facing an Ultralist composition instead of Broodlords.
Yep. Ultralist, that is going to be the long-term idea of KangHo, who's already adding the Adrenal Glands upgrade for the Zerglings and the +3/+3 for his ground units. And still the Mutalisk is trying to roam the map, but this time Bomber's ready. The Widowmines are going to be burrowed here.
Yeah, I don't think Luceris should commit. He wants to save his creep. He's been so active about his creep spreading in this game, but
look at the spec that we have for the Terran player. The Widowmines trying to get their shots off, getting a good one here against the first Overseer. And soon KangHo is going to lose his detection. So many Banelings, 25 right under the nose of Bomber.
And he's going for it. He's got the flank.
He's moving in. The Widowmine's already in cooldown. The Marines not being split at all here. Finally, Bomber uses the mic to release escape with those medevacs.
Yep. KangHo takes a supply lead again, at least initially here. He's going to start some Ultralists behind this. His very first one.
KangHo is really trying to carry that momentum into the heart of the Terran's players' bases. 4 bases against 4 at this point. Still Mutaling Baneling, but the Ultralists are being built now.
This is a very close game. You know, KangHo having some trouble in the beginning, but he is fighting tooth and nail. He has on the map at any given time at least like 69 creep tumors. Right now 79. Every time I look, he's around 69, but he's even over 70 now.
Ravens now coming up. Really good for Bomber. A great choice in my opinion. First of all, he will have a much easier time to deal with the creep tumors. And second of all, he can then use the Seeker missiles against his opponent. Another drop at the bottom right. At the same time, Bomber is moving into the middle, scanning everywhere, taking down those creep tumors, trying to deny the 5th base. Not cancel.
And Lucero tries to come in though. There's already a pre-split.
Bomber is trying to hold against this. He's once again after burning away. The Burrowed Widow Mines are taking their shots against the Mutalisks and Zerglings.
And Lucero needs to keep a Overseer with his army. He's just not consistently doing that. That's why these Widow Mines just remain alive.
They die against the Burrowed Widow Mines. That's his biggest problem here. He had so many Overseers earlier, but he just can't keep them alive. They're always the first ones to go into the Widow Mines, and then they're taken out.
Widow Mines so good against Ultralisk. They do ignore that Ultralisk armor, so...
Scans everywhere. So many creep tumors already killed. More and more Ravens are being built for Bomber. The transition here is a good one. If you get those Seeker missiles off, you can toast the Zerg army in seconds.
Yep. This drop is going to be cleaned up, but don't forget, Bomber still gains control of the middle of the map with this. He clears up more tumors here. Where is that Raven? It looks like it hasn't arrived just yet.
He has those Ravens in his main base still. He didn't use them in the fight just yet. Another scan taking out creep tumors. Here comes the Ultralisk and also the Banelings. The Widow Mines dishing out their damage. The Overseer is there, and those few Mutalisks are taking down every single mine in range.
Oh wow, Banelings running away from that Seeker missile.
Good hit here, taking down Banelings and Zerglings, but the Raven dies the death of a hero.
You know, 2 of those Widow Mines in that fight actually blew up on Marines and Medivacs, so that really hurt him. A nice block here just at the last second, denying Bomber from landing the space with a double Overlord. So
we are heading towards a split map situation with KangHo now transitioning into Infestors. He really wants to get a gold hold not only onto those bio units, but also if there are clumped up Ravens, that is like the best target for Fungal.
Don't forget, he's making 8 Infestors, but he has no Pathogen Glands, so that's a bit of an oversight by him. Of course, you know, he can start it later. Reminds
me a little bit of the series that Violet was playing in the last year.
Yes, I was about to say exactly that. Was that against Bomber himself? I can't remember who that was against.
I cannot remember who that was. I think it was a Protoss player. Here we go again now, trying to deal with those few Marines. And once again, a drop in the main base. The Infestors are ready, but they don't have the energy just yet. They're trying to fight anyways, but they can't do anything.
Yeah, I mean, he's just trying to scare him a little bit, beat his chest. He will actually clear this up. No damage going to happen here. Infestation Pit, as you can see, you know, just sitting idly by, is still in Pathogen Glands, and he's got to realize that. You know, I mean, he tried to use those Infestors and he couldn't. He must know.
Depends on if he wants to rely on Infestors later on in the game. I feel that he might not try to build anymore after this. But yeah, if he wants to commit to Infestors later on, he needs the upgrade.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fair point. He could just be using them that one catch on the Ravens, or just a big fight against the Marines.
Just against the Ravens, against the Marines, buying himself some time to transition into the Broodlords now that we have the Great Aspire being developed here.
There are 34 Marauders on the map, by the way, and only 15 Marines. He's got a very Marauder-heavy composition right now. And he's making only Marauders right now, 6 at a time.
He's actually overcommitting to it, and he's losing a lot of SCVs to the top left. That's nothing.
Yeah. Almost every single one down, and now he can fly away.
I'm really surprised that he didn't lose this many, because he saw that coming.
Yeah, he had sensor towers up.
Not only the sensor towers, he also had a Widow Mine on the pathway.
Well, right now, Bomber, like you said, he may be overcommitting to his Marauders a little bit too much, because the Broodlord transition is underway. And he has, you know, he's got 5 Ravens, but he has no Vikings. He doesn't have a ton of reactored starports to make Vikings quickly, so he's going to have to react to what he sees very soon. I don't think Lucero wants to actually commit to this.
I don't think Bomber wants to commit to this. Not in this choke point against all those Infestors. He scans ahead, he sees the composition, he's like, whoa, no way. Here comes the first Seeker missile, but those Mutalisks will be out of range.
Really clever micro there by KangHo, picks off one of the Ravens. And he wants to trap some of these, but can he actually make this work? A boost?
Oh, he does the same thing he did at LMG.
Oh! Gets the Infestors!
Sick.
That was excellent. You know, this is great with the boosters. He stemmed a lot here.
Bomber did that at MLG, and he does it again. He's moving in. And this is just KangHo looking at it. He's like, you are insane.
Those medevac pilots are like, what?
Get away from me!
But Keller, with all those medevacs lost, he doesn't have a lot of healing, and all those bioforces are in the red right now, so a few good fungals, if he can get in there, will actually possibly kill the entire army.
Oh yeah, if he gets a good fungal at this army, that is going to change everything. And here we go! The fungals are not there just yet, but the banelings, they are moving in against the marauders. They are split, and suddenly the Terran player loses a lot of his supply. Rebuilding it immediately, and here we go!
Fungal's going down. You know, he just barely does not have enough, and the healing power of those medevacs a little bit late here, but Bomber is down in supply. KangHo is remaxing. It's 73 harvesters to 41
at a time now. He's going for the Marines, and there's always the danger of another Widow Mine Medivac, Seeker Missile Medivac being used against the Terran player, against the Zerg player. But KangHo is now going for the Broodlords that we were mentioning earlier, and with the Broodlords suddenly, there has to be a transition for Bomber. He has nothing against them.
Yeah. Bomber is also very, very low on the red with all of these units. I cannot stress enough. I know you guys don't always see hit points, but so many of them are still in the red. As you can see here, now you see them.
Yeah. And he's moving in once again. He has to sacrifice all those scans against to see where the army is positioned. And here we go move in once more with the Terran player trying to get a good angle. This time the Seeker Missile only hitting 2 of the Mutalisks, but the rest of the army not committing just yet.
Lords are shown, and he's considering it. You know, that choke point is so hard to actually fight in.
And we have the Vikings now being built. He's going into Vikings. He needs them. He needs something against those Broodlords. He doesn't have an answer.
30-minute mark. There are still 54 creep tumors on the map for KangHo. He's making more. Does not stop with his creep. Point defense drone taken out here. Here we go. Good fungal.
The fungal is decent, yes. Doesn't catch the bigger part of the army, though. And here we go once again. Lucira is so careful here. Double drop now headed to the top right, but the Mutalisks are already on the way to intercept them.
Yep. It's all about where the drop is spotted. If he catches it right next to the base, he'll get it for free. And it looks like that's exactly... Oh, he splits it? It's only Marauders, though.
Yeah.
So he should be able to clear that up no matter what.
Be able to clear that up no matter what, yes, he said. But we have a hatch being built, and this hatch is not going to go down. He might be able to snipe the hatch here. Going to kill those Zerglings, or maybe not.
KangHo is taking control over this game, Keller. He just has the better compositions at all times.
Yeah.
And right now, Bomber just has to wait. He needs to wait until he gets a few more Vikings, maybe 1 or 2 more Ravens out before he can actually fight this composition. I don't know about this.
Has the bank, he has the bank, and he has the army. 150 supply for Bomber, 200 for KangHo. He's pushing his way in. He's taking down the space. He has a lot of resources banked up. And once again, those Seeker missiles not doing a lot.
Now, falling a little bit short here. I'm not sure about engaging up this ramp with the Broodlords. He's going to try for it. He has to be careful.
I feel he has the army. He's just trying to bully his way up that ramp. With one good funnel, he could take down the entire Terran army. But Bomber is even retreating onto the high ground. He realizes that it's just way too much to handle.
Yeah. And the Banelings trying to figure out exactly how to engage. Do not send those Ultras up there. Do not do it.
He's just moving his way in with all those Banelings. And Bomber, he bit off too much.
I cannot believe he went up there and still made it work. I mean, he just had too much. GG.
He had an insane army, good upgrades, a massive lead, and also the resources to just rebuild the entire army if need be. The income too. This is just KangHo playing such an excellent series so far. And Bomber, well, he looks a little bit lost, you know?
Yeah, and in that game, he was so ahead from the beginning because of all the larvae he made KangHo spend with that Hellion attack. Yeah. Then he was able to take map control for a while, but KangHo never stopped his creep spread, not for a second.
He had such a good map control. Even later on when we had KangHo Bomber with all those Ravens taking down creep tumor after creep tumor, he always came back with the queens. He always came back with the active creep tumors, spread the creep again and again and again. He forced scans not only to take down the creep tumors, but also the positional ones. And Bomber was just running out of steam at some point.
He definitely was. I mean, he ran out of everything he could really accomplish there. And I have to give it to Lucira. He played a great game. He was able to just continue that creep spread throughout the entire game, keep that map control. Excellent
series so far by the Zerg. He is already up 2-0, and for Bomber, this is really difficult. He needs to find an answer to Lucira's style, because right now, if he loses another map, then he will be out. Then we will have Lucira advance to the WCS season finals. So we're having into a 5-minute break, and as soon as we come back, we'll find out if Bomber has an answer to Lucira's style today, or if he will go down in flames without taking a single map. See you guys in 5.